Hey, beautiful, and welcome to the Manifesting Simplified podcast. I'm your host, Paulina Xenia, and today we're talking all about one of the big reasons for why you may not be manifesting your specific person relationship. Now, over these past few years, I have been helping thousands of individuals manifest their specific person relationships, and this is something that I see that is holding many individuals back. This can hold you back from either seeing any movement with your specific person and having them come back into your arms, or hold you back from creating that loving, healthy, committed relationship with them once they're back in. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you that yes, I realized that I have been gone for way too long. The last time I published a podcast episode was 6 months ago, and that is exactly how long I've been traveling for as well. I have been traveling all around Asia and Australia for the last 6 months, and now I'm enjoying these last 3 weeks traveling before I head back to Europe for the summer. So I'm definitely gonna start uploading a little bit more podcast episodes for you lovelies because I have received so many DMs asking when is the next podcast episode gonna be published. And I love hearing that these podcast episodes are helping you and that you love them. And my promise to you is that there's gonna be way more podcast episodes coming this year. And also, if you have any specific topics that you would want me to cover here on the podcast, please feel free to just send me an Instagram message and I would love to hear from you. Now, let's dive into today's episode, shall we? The one big thing that holds many people back from actually materializing that specific person relationship is holding on to the past. And what I mean by this is that people are still holding on to that past pain, that past hurt, like all of the experiences that happened in the past with that specific person, kind of like holding on to grudges and holding on to all of those negative emotions towards that person and thinking that they can get that person back from that space, and it just doesn't work. The thing with manifestation is that we have to step into our power. We have to become the conscious creators of our reality in order to manifest something new into our lives. We cannot play the victims of our reality because a victim is not in their power. And if you're still holding on to the past, kind of like secretly waiting for your specific person to show up and apologize for all of the things that they did. Like, I understand that they hurt you. I understand that you're in pain, but I also understand that you need to take your power back. Like, if you're still angry at your person for the way that they showed up, treated you, behaved, and acted towards you, and you're still frustrated and hurt by the things that they did, maybe they ghosted you, they left you behind, they rejected you for somebody else if there's like a third party in the picture. And those feelings are valid. Like, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to feel that way, especially if your person did or said something hurtful. I'm just saying that every day that you're holding on to those negative emotions from the past is just another day that you're repelling what you actually want. Because these negative emotions and you secretly waiting for that apology and waiting for that explanation for what they did and said is keeping you playing the victim of your reality. Holding on to these negative emotions from the past will keep you in the past and hold you back from manifesting your future and that desired relationship with your specific person, because they will keep you identified as the version of yourself that got left, rejected, hurt, abandoned, ghosted, right? Because manifestation is really all about changing the way you see yourself. So during the manifestation process, we're gonna have to do an identity transformation where we change the way we see ourselves through changing our self-concept or our belief system. And that old identity of you being rejected and ghosted and left behind, that identity needs to die. Because quantum physics shows us that there are infinite parallel realities existing in this present moment, like existing right now. So there's a version of you that already has that desired relationship with your specific person, that feels chosen, that feels loved and prioritized every single day. And then there's also a version of you that feels hurt, that feels rejected, that feels unlovable, not good enough, and not like the chosen one. So all possibilities exist right here, right now, and the way that we can now manifest that reality that we actually want, where we're already the version of ourselves that has our specific person relationship, is through this identity transformation. It's through identifying as that version of ourselves already now. That's why I'm telling you that you can either choose to hold on to that pain, wanting your specific person to pay for how they made you feel, resenting your person for making you feel that way and like rejecting you or whatever happened in the breakup, knowing that this will keep you stuck in your current reality of wanting your person but not having them because you're still identifying as the old version of yourself. Or you can choose to process those emotions, which we will talk about how to do that shortly, and manifest your specific person back. And I mean, letting go of the past does not mean that you can't remember the things that happened in the past. It's not about ignoring the things that happened. It's not about pretending that they never even happened. It's just about taking back our power, knowing that we were the ones that created that version of our person in the first place through how we identified ourselves, through our belief system. Because as within, so without, we have to take our power back by understanding that our specific person is simply a reflection of us. So when we're holding on to beliefs of not being the chosen one, not feeling quite worthy or good enough, that is exactly when things like that happen, where we get dumped, where we get rejected, where suddenly there's another woman or another man that takes our person away from us. So actually, instead of waiting for your specific person to apologize to you for all of the things they did, the person that you need to apologize to is yourself, because you created all of those past experiences through your internal identity, how you saw yourself in that moment, which is coming from your beliefs about yourself, right? So understand that your specific person had no other option but to show up that way and reflect your beliefs back to you. But still, letting go of the past is not as easy as just let go of the past and just drop the old story of your specific person as you know that it doesn't exist anymore. No, I wish that it was that easy for most people, but it's not. Because we're still holding on to all of those negative emotions in the body, and that's the problem, and that's the thing that we're gonna work on. So, of course, the story that you have been telling yourself on a daily basis of what happened in the past and how your specific person treated you poorly and showed up in a way that you didn't want, that's one part of it. But at the same time, that's all conscious stuff. And as we know, the conscious mind doesn't manifest, it doesn't create your reality, it doesn't create your experiences in love and relationships. That's why we need to go one level deeper. We need to go to the subconscious mind. So consciously we can drop the story of the things that happened in the past, but at the same time we also have to release those emotions from the body. The thing is that if you don't release those things from the past on an emotional level, then you will be chained to the past and it's gonna be hard to manifest what you actually want. And one way to let go of the past on a subconscious level is through letting go of these emotions from the body, through processing them in a healthy way. Because your subconscious mind stores all of your emotional memories and patterns, and these are the ones that are triggered then by your current experiences. And so we don't want to be in a situation where our specific person comes back and we haven't cleared these emotions. And what happens is that we're going to be triggered again and go into self sabotage. Because we cannot still identify as the version of ourselves that got heartbroken, because that's exactly when our specific person is gonna come back in. Because I mean, holding on to the past, it's not necessarily a block, like your person can still show up, but it will hold you back from creating that loving, healthy, committed relationship with them. And that's actually where I see a lot of people go wrong, because they get their specific persons back, but then they end up sabotaging it again just because they're still identified as the version of themselves that got left, got rejected, and is still in pain. And so they're basically picking up the same fights where they left last time, like the fights that most likely caused the breakup to happen in the first place. Okay, so we already know that we need to drop the old story in order to let go of the past, but it's deeper than that. We need to release the negative emotions attached to that story, because the reason for why the story is so strong, the reason for why it's so hard to let go of that story is because of all of that negative emotional junk that is attached to that story. It's actually us holding on to the negative emotions attached to the past experiences that are keeping the old story alive, and us just recreating the same past over and over again. And like I already mentioned, holding on to these funky emotions in the body is basically signaling to the subconscious mind, the part of your brain that is responsible for creating your reality and manifesting your wildest dreams, that you still don't have what you want, because the version of you who would have their desired relationship with their specific person would not hold on to those emotions in the body. So the goal here is not to revise anything from the past. Like, we don't need to do any revision techniques in order for this to be effective. What we need to do is neutralize the funky feelings from the body, from those past experiences, so that we can take our power back and not give our power away to the past and to our specific person and all of the things that they did and said. Take our power back and create a new future. So how do we do it? How do we neutralize these emotions? How do we process emotions in a healthy way? This is one of the things that I see myself as an expert in, because this is something that I personally had to do as well, because society doesn't really teach you how to process your emotions in a healthy way. Like, there's a lot of unhealthy strategies for coping with those unwanted negative emotions, like suppressing them, trying to escape them by like distracting yourself, like watching TV, scrolling on social media, or just numbing the pain through addictions, for example, or binge eating. Now, obviously, these can help short term and they might feel good in the moment, but the emotions are still gonna haunt you, because those emotions are still gonna be in your body. They're still gonna be there lingering, waiting for you to finally process them rather than like running away from them. And for a long time, I tried running away from those negative emotions. I tried escaping them, and obviously, they did not go anywhere. They just caused the buildup of emotions in my body, and then at moments, I would just basically snap. I would just lose my temper, and everything would come out. So, coming from somebody that used to have bad anger issues back in the days and used to have that buildup of negative emotions in the body, just ready to snap at any moment, which of course this came as a byproduct of all of those traumatic experiences that I had as a child, but that's not the topic for today. Now, today, after finding some powerful modalities for releasing those negative emotions from the body, like breath work is one of them that I just love so much, I feel completely free. Like, I'm not only more tapped into my body, tapped into like my emotions, and I have such a high level of emotional intelligence right now, but at the same time, I feel mentally and emotionally free. It feels like this really peaceful and relaxed state that I never thought that I would come to, because I had been in fight or flight mode, which is the stress response of the body, for way too long, like for many years. When I found breathwork and I started doing those breathwork sessions on a weekly basis, the same ones that you have inside my programs right now, because it's just one of the most effective ways for regulating the nervous system, coming back home into your body, and just releasing those stuck emotions from the body. Today, I am a certified breathwork practitioner, but I was basically able to free myself from the past and take back control of my emotions and just start responding to life and circumstances and people, instead of always reacting, instead of always allowing everything to throw me off. If you're ready to take your power back and start creating your reality on demand rather than just being a victim of your circumstances, and you just know, like you just feel it in your body that, okay, this is what you need to release those negative emotions from the body, then I already have a podcast episode on this where there's actually a breathwork practice that you can do on a daily basis. It is called breathwork for manifesting your specific person, but you can definitely do the same breath pattern and just release those negative emotions. Because I really suggest that you do some sort of breath work or some sort of like moving the body, whether you go for a run or just like shaking or dancing. But from my personal experience, it's much more effective to release those negative emotions from the body through some sort of movement rather than just grabbing a journal and start writing about those negative emotions. Because again, that's the conscious mind, and we want to tap into the subconscious mind where all of those emotions reside in the first place, which is basically the body. So that's why movement is so powerful. That was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your biggest takeaways from today. And if you start doing breath work or you sign up for my program after this, I would love to hear about it.